Have you ever had that moment, quiet and unsettling, when you realize you can't count on others the way you used to, even the people you love most? Like your children or siblings may not be able to be there the way they once were. Life changes. Children get caught up in their own families. Siblings age alongside us. Friends move away, fall sick, or pass on, and one day, you find yourself silently asking, who's really there for me? Now that question can feel like hitting a wall, especially if it catches you off guard. But here's something empowering. You don't have to wait for support to come from others. You can build something stronger, something lasting inside yourself. Even in your 70s or 80s, you can live with clarity, courage, and deep peace. This video isn't about resentment. It's about awakening. It's about recognizing that the most dependable forms of support often don't come from other people, they come from within. From habits, from values, from choices you can make starting today. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through 5 life anchors that are often overlooked, but they're powerful, steady, and completely within your reach. These 5 things can reshape how you experience aging and how you define strength. If you're here with me, comment a 0 below, and after watching, drop a number 1 if anything resonates with you. Your thoughts matter. Please remember to like this video and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future inspiration. Now let's begin. Number 1, physical mobility. As we age, one of the most powerful forms of support isn't financial, emotional, or even social. It's something much more personal. It's your ability to move on your own, in your own time, without needing someone to hold your hand. This isn't just about walking. It's about living with freedom, with dignity, and with a quiet kind of strength that often goes unnoticed. Physical mobility after 70 is not about running races or doing anything dramatic. It's about being able to get out of bed without hesitation. Make yourself a warm breakfast. Reach for the things you love on the top shelf. And step outside to feel the sunlight without waiting for someone to help you do it. These simple movements become symbols of independence, and independence is what gives you peace of mind. When your body responds to your will, something shifts inside you. You start to feel more in control, less like a burden, and more like yourself. You trust your body, you trust your decisions, and you no longer live in fear of becoming helpless. Staying physically mobile doesn't require extreme workouts. It requires commitment to small, sustainable habits. A few minutes of stretching in the morning, a short walk down the block, light movements using a chair or resistance band. These efforts may feel small, but over time, they build resilience, not just in your muscles, but in your spirit. Many people believe that slowing down is inevitable. And while change is natural, decline doesn't have to be. In fact, your body responds to use. The more you move, the more your muscles, joints, and balance respond. Your body listens to your choices far more than it listens to your age. There's a deeper layer to this. 2, when physical mobility declines, mental freedom often follows. Many older adults stop going out not because they don't want to, but because they're afraid. Afraid of falling, afraid of being embarrassed, afraid of needing help. Slowly, they begin to isolate themselves. Invitations get turned down. Opportunities are missed. The world becomes smaller, not because it has to, but because fear takes over. But it doesn't have to be that way. I remember meeting a man named Bernard at a local park. He was 78, walked with a cane, and came out every morning, rain or shine, to walk slow. Steady laps around the path. I asked him why he never skipped a day. He smiled and said, "The day I stop walking is the day I start waiting for help. And I'm not ready to wait. I still want to live." His strength wasn't in how far he walked, but in the fact that he refused to stop moving. That choice gave him confidence, freedom, and purpose. He still shops for groceries, visits friends, and takes pride in climbing the front steps of his home, not because life is easy, but because he chose not to give up. If you feel stiff or tired today, that's okay. You're not behind. Start where you are. Do one small thing. Stretch your arms while your tea is brewing. Take one extra step around your room. Each small movement builds something much greater, a foundation that holds you up, especially on the days when no one else is around. Number 2, financial simplicity. In your 70s and beyond, peace of mind doesn't come from how much money you've saved. It comes from knowing exactly what you need, being clear about what you can afford, and feeling calm about how you manage your money without fear and without shame. That's why financial simplicity becomes one of the most powerful sources of support in later life. And the best part, it's completely in your control. You don't need anyone's permission to simplify. You don't need complicated systems. You just need clarity. The truth is, when finances get messy, they don't just cause confusion, they cause emotional weight. Trying to track different accounts, manage multiple credit cards, or remember which subscriptions you're still paying for these things quietly steal your peace. They make everyday life feel heavier than it needs to be. And the older you get, the more that heaviness matters. Stability isn't just a luxury anymore, it's essential. You might have a loving family, but even they can't fix financial stress for you. What will help is having a simple plan you can follow, a budget that makes sense, a routine that gives you peace. Think of it like walking with a cane, not a sign of weakness, but a tool that helps you stay steady. A lot of people think simplifying means losing control, but in reality, it means regaining it, choosing a lifestyle that matches your actual needs, not someone else's expectations, spending without guilt, knowing where your money goes. Once you clear away the clutter, mentally and financially, you feel lighter. Here's the deeper truth. Financial simplicity also eases one of the greatest fears people carry later in life: uncertainty. Many older adults lie awake wondering, will my savings last? Will I need care I can't afford? These questions don't just cause stress. They cause silence, isolation, even shame. But when your spending is intentional and your needs are met without stretching too thin, something amazing happens. You sleep better. You stand taller. You feel capable again. I want to share a story about someone I admire. Her name is Joyce, a 74-year-old woman who lost her husband years ago. After he passed, she worked with a financial advisor, moved into a smaller home, canceled all the services she no longer used, and switched to using just one card. No more confusion. No more dread opening bills. She even keeps a small jar labeled Peace Fund, a few dollars here and there, but it reminds her that she's in charge of her life, not her money. Joyce told me, I used to feel embarrassed when I didn't understand a bill. Now I feel proud that I can explain every cent. That's not magic. That's wisdom. That's a quiet choice to live clearly, not just survive. And here's the best part: when your money is simple, you rely on fewer people. You don't have to wait for your kids to help. You don't need to hand over control. You are capable more than you think. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by finances, pause. Take a breath. You don't need to be rich. You just need to be honest and clear. Cancel what you don't use. Write things down. Combine what you can. Make it simple enough to explain over a cup of tea. If you're still watching and this message resonates, comment number 2 below so I know you're with me. Number 3, consistent health routine. By the time you reach your 70s, the strongest support system you have may not be your family, friends, or even your doctor. It's your health routine, the small, consistent actions you take each day to care for your body and your mind. These quiet habits are often overlooked, but they hold more power than most people realize. This isn't about trendy fitness programs or expensive vitamins. It's about steady, doable behaviors that help you stay grounded and functioning. Because when your body feels strong and supported, your spirit often follows. Too often, people wait until something breaks before they begin to take their health seriously. But that's like fixing a roof during a storm. It's stressful, reactive, and unsustainable. A routine shifts you into prevention mode. It gives you ownership. It says, I choose to care for myself before something goes wrong. Imagine starting your morning with a short walk, drinking a full glass of water, stretching your arms and legs, taking your medications on time, eating meals that nourish you, not just fill you. These may seem simple, but they create rhythm, and rhythm creates stability. There's a quiet strength in routine, especially in older age. Psychologically, routines reduce stress because they remove uncertainty. You don't have to wonder what you should do each day. You already know. That familiarity brings calm. And that calm brings confidence. And when you feel confident, you stop feeling like a burden. You begin to say things like, I've got this. I still take care of me. That mindset changes everything. Let me tell you about someone who lives this truth. His name is Leonard. He's 82 years old. And every day, without fail, he follows the same morning ritual: tea with honey, 10 minutes of gentle stretches in a chair, a short walk around his building, and then breakfast with no distractions. He once said, "This isn't about health goals. It's about reminding myself that I still matter." That line stayed with me. His routine isn't just about staying fit, it's about preserving dignity. It's his way of saying, I'm still here, and I still care. What many don't realize is that routines also help reduce the chances of forgetting important things like medication or meals. They can lower fall risk, reduce confusion, and keep your mind engaged. It's like carving a path in the forest. Even on foggy days, you know where to step because you've walked that way before. And some days will be harder. Your joints may hurt. Your energy may dip. The weather may keep you inside. That's okay. Routines don't need to be perfect, they need to be consistent. A walk around the room, deep breaths by the window, a glass of water before bed. These small rituals form a safety net that holds you steady. Every time you follow through, even in a small way, you're proving something powerful. You are your own best caregiver. And that's a kind of strength no one else can provide. Number 4, emotional resilience. As we grow older, there's one type of strength that becomes more valuable than anything else. It's not money. It's not even perfect health. It's emotional resilience, the quiet ability to face life's challenges without falling apart. Emotional resilience is what helps you sit with loneliness and not feel hollow. It's what lets you face heartbreak, change, or disappointment without losing your sense of self. By the time you're in your 70s or beyond, you've likely experienced loss: a spouse, a friendship, your own sense of physical ability. But those who continue to stand, to smile, to hope, often have something powerful in common: emotional endurance. This doesn't mean you never feel sad. It means you allow sadness, but don't let it stay forever. You feel deeply, but you don't drown. You hurt, but you don't break. And that's where your real power lies, not in pretending everything is okay, but in telling yourself, this is hard, but I can get through it. Every time you allow yourself to feel pain without running from it, you grow stronger. You become less afraid of what's ahead. You begin to trust yourself more. That's emotional strength. Let me share the story of someone I admire. Her name is Ruth. She's 78 and lost her husband 6 years ago. She lives alone now. And when I asked her how she manages the quiet evenings, she said, I light a candle every night. Not for religion, but to remind myself that I'm still here. Some nights I cry, others I laugh, but I always say, "You made it through today." That small ritual is her way of honoring her grief without letting it consume her. That is resilience. You see, emotional strength isn't only for the big moments of life, it's also for the little hurts when your son forgets to call, when your old friend moves away, when your hands don't work like they used to. If every change brings collapse, life becomes too fragile to enjoy. But if you can stay steady, you start to feel free again. You're not waiting for the world to be perfect. You're choosing how to respond to what it gives you. And here's something fascinating psychologically. Emotional resilience actually changes your brain. It helps slow racing thoughts. It calms your nervous system. It builds confidence so you can walk into uncertainty without fear. So, how do you build it? You start with awareness. Speak gently to yourself. Let your emotions come, but don't let them lead. Create small rituals that keep you grounded. Write in a journal. Sit under a tree. Listen to a song that soothes your heart. And most importantly, remind yourself often, "I've survived everything up to this point." That's not luck. That's strength. Your body may change. Your circumstances may shift. But if your emotional foundation is strong, you will stand with clarity, with calm, with the deep understanding that you are still whole, even when others can't always be there. If you've made it to this part of the video, I'd love to know you're here. Please comment number 4 below. And if you found value in this message, consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell. Your support helps us keep creating content that uplifts, informs, and inspires. Let's keep going. Number 5, a personal code of values. At this stage of life, having your own moral compass becomes more than just a nice idea, it becomes essential. When you're in your 70s or 80s, and the world around you begins to shift, what holds you steady isn't what others expect from you, but what you expect from yourself. A personal code of values acts like an internal anchor. When relationships change, routines fall away, or loved ones drift apart, your values remain. They tell you, "This is who I am, and this is how I live." No matter what anyone else says or does, many older adults feel a sudden sense of disorientation because they spent decades fulfilling roles: devoted parent, hardworking employee, loyal partner. But once those titles fade into the background, the question arises, now what? That's where your inner principles step forward, not to impress anyone, but to guide you. Your personal code might include things like speaking honestly, living simply, showing compassion, practicing forgiveness, or honoring your own needs without guilt. These values are rarely flashy or loud, but they have a quiet strength. When you're rooted in them, you don't need validation from the outside. You stop explaining yourself. You simply live your truth. Let me tell you about someone who embodies this beautifully. His name is Harold, and at 83, he lives alone in a modest apartment. He once shared with me 5 personal rules he never breaks. Tell the truth. Waste nothing. Return what you borrow. Forgive quickly. And go to bed with a clear conscience. That's it. He doesn't try to impress anyone, but the peace and dignity he carries, it's unmistakable. Harold's story shows us that strength isn't about power. It's about integrity. It's about knowing who you are and living like it matters. Psychologically, this kind of consistency is powerful. Research shows that older adults who live by a clear personal code experience less anxiety, fewer regrets, and even better cognitive function. Why? Because clarity calms the mind. When decisions are based on values, not guesswork, you waste less energy second-guessing everything. And when life throws you challenges, which it always will, you don't crumble. You pose. You reflect. You ask, what do my values say about this? And that question alone can guide you through the darkest days. The best part, your values are yours. No one can argue you out of them. You don't have to defend or justify them. You simply hold them close and live by them, whether or not anyone notices, because in the end, when you look back over your life, success won't be measured by applause or praise. It'll be that quiet moment when you can say to yourself, I lived the way I believed. And that, more than anything, is the kind of support that never leaves your side. Final thoughts. As we grow older, there comes a moment when we quietly look around and ask ourselves, who is truly standing by me now? Sometimes, the answer can be surprising. The people we thought would always be there, family, longtime friends, even our own bodies may not offer the steady support they once did. But this isn't the end of the story. In fact, it's often the beginning of a deeper realization. The older we get, the more we begin to understand that some of the strongest pillars in our lives have always been within us. Not outside, not in others, but in the habits we build, the values we live by, and the quiet strength we carry through each season of life. Perhaps it's in the comfort of familiar routines, the way a morning stretch or a warm cup of tea can anchor us. Perhaps it's in the joy of simple hobbies that bring light to otherwise quiet afternoons. These aren't just time fillers. They are soul keepers. They remind us who we are, even when the house is empty and the phone is silent. Taking care of your body is another form of emotional support. Strong legs, steady hands, and nourishing meals are not luxuries in old age, they are lifelines. When you maintain your physical health, you preserve your independence, and that in itself brings peace of mind. And don't forget the mind. Staying mentally engaged, curious, and open to new ideas can keep your spirit vibrant. Learning something new, reading a good book, or simply reflecting on your day gives your mind a sense of movement and meaning. When your brain feels alive, your days do too. Then there's something even quieter but perhaps most powerful of all your personal values, a sense of purpose, a moral compass. When you live in alignment with who you truly are, you stop chasing approval and start finding peace. You don't have to prove anything. You simply have to live truthfully. That inner alignment becomes a safe place no one can take from you. So, what does all of this mean? It means that after 70, the most reliable support system might not come from others. It comes from the way you choose to live, from your mindset, from the practices and beliefs you build into your daily rhythm. It comes from within. When you become your own foundation, you don't just survive, you thrive. And even on the days when you feel alone, you're never really lonely, because you've built something inside that holds you steady. Now, here's a gentle invitation. Take a moment when this video ends. Reflect quietly. Ask yourself, which of these inner supports do I already have in place? Which one do I want to strengthen next? You don't need to make a huge change. Even one small, intentional step can bring big shifts over time. Thank you for spending this time with us. If you found this message helpful or inspiring, please consider leaving a comment below. Share one thing that touched you and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your thoughts help others and uplift this community. And if you haven't already, we invite you to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a message that might brighten your day. We're honored to be on this journey with you. Until next time.